I'm Zoe, and have any of you thought you would try to do something special for Thanksgiving? Well, other than cooking a big meal for the family, or, just enjoying a meal that a family member cooked for you? Well, I was thinking something along those lines, and here we are. Basically, I wanted to show gratitude to the scores of media that have inspired me or influenced my art. And in order to do that, I'm going to be creating cringy self-insert OCs for some of those scores of media. I'm calling it Thankscringing. Not sure if anybody else has come up with that idea on the internet before, but, they probably have because it's the internet. Anyways, let's jump right into this. If you've been around the channel for a while, you might be able to guess that one of these drawings is going to be amphibia. And you would be right. So let's get this out of the way so I can do something that is a little bit less obvious for my media selection. Because this is a self-insert character, I need to find a way to insert a character without rewriting the story. That's the basic rule of this. They must be able to fit into the world and not change the overall plot. Which may make you ask, what's the point of having a cringy self-insert character then? And well, you have a point, but it's the rule I'm going with. I'm not writing a fanfic, just making an illustration. Besides, if I've already done that for Amphibia, and it's by far my most popular video. Anyways, let's talk about who I would be in Frogland. And that would be a frog. I thought being human would be too drastic to the story Amphibia has, and I figured it would be more fun to draw a frog than a person. So here we are with Zoe the Frog. For most of my reference, I used Ivy and then came up with an outfit I felt might fit in Wartwood or some other frog village. Probably Wartwood. I don't want to be too far removed from the events. I figured because if this is a self-insert, she would be an artist, so I decided to draw her drawing. Just ignore her drawing hand. I didn't nail the grip of the pencil. During Season 3A, or whenever the Frog Resistance got started, I figured she would join. Overall, Zoe the Frog would be a background character seen and perhaps interacted with by the main cast on occasion, but not major importance. She would have her own adventures doing things. I haven't thought of them, and I'm not writing a fanfiction, just making an illustration, as I said before. So let's keep it kind of vague. As for the drawing itself, I wanted the character to be small while the background large. That's because some of the biggest influences Amphibia has had on my art style is backgrounds. I frequently use their nature backgrounds as reference for when I draw mine, and overall it has helped me become better at drawing backgrounds. There are some obvious influences in the way that I draw characters as well, but I do think that the most impactful thing has been backgrounds. So I wanted to pay homage to that. So with that, I think I have finished up with illustrating Zoe the Frog. Let's move on to the next character, or I guess self-insert. Our next Mary Sue is not from a TV show, but a book series. I gotta draw some fan art for it one of these days. The title is He Who Fights with Monsters. There are currently 9 books, and the audiobooks are about 20 hours long. I've listened to the series twice now, so yeah, that's a lot of hours. Book 10 will also be released soon. I'm very excited for it. Basically, the book series follows Jason Asano, an outworlder who becomes an adventurer and slays monsters, fights criminals, and hunts cultists. But we're not here to talk about Jason, much to his dismay. We're here to talk about adventurer Zoe. She is an outworlder as well. And an outworlder is someone whose soul was pulled from their universe by some event, usually a magical accident, and placed into another. Their soul creates a new body for themselves with a few magical gifts to help them survive in their new world. That's a long way for me to say I have the ability to absorb magical essences, identify items, and have a dimensional storage space. The same powers as Jason Asano, except where he has an ability to prevent magical tracking, adventurer Zoe would have a shape-shifting power. Not a super OP one. It just lets her look how she would if she could shapeshift into a different species. So, that might not make very much sense as a sentence. Let's see, is there a better way to describe it? Basically, she looks similar to how she would as a human, like maybe like a family member or someone who just looks very similar. Unless if the species itself is drastically different. But she would still be unique to herself, not like copying someone else's face. So basically, she can't disguise herself as any rando on the street, but she can look like an elf or a Leonid, a lion person. When trying to figure out what kinds of powers she has, I wanted to try and create a paladin sort of build. Not religious, but if you've played D&D, you should be able to get the vibe I'm going for. I chose the Might, Swift, and Life essences to create the Immortal Confluence essence. Not sure if that's a canon combination, but I couldn't find any sort of essences sets that confirm or deny it. So I'm assuming the Confluence essence is correct. I don't know what the powers would be specifically. Essence users get like 20 of them, but I do know they would include some heavy attacks, magical shields to be used on herself or others, healing powers, movement powers, one for flight at higher ranks and gliding at lowers, and one for a burst of speed. So yeah, a magical heal tank. She probably doesn't have many, if any, AoE attacks, and burns through mana quickly, so she would need someone to support her on that end to keep her going. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do for her, so I had Adventurer Zoe stand in a stoic pose with dark clouds in the background at sunset. As for her personal story, I know she would be in a low magic zone, at least in the beginning, because that's excellent for low rank adventurers. Basically, the lower the magic, the weaker the monsters. She probably would have participated in the Reaper trials, but I'm not sure if she lives in Greenstone or another area with similar low magic. She probably did a fair bit of work hunting builder cultists and monsters, but I'm not going to go into the heavy specifics. If I was, I would have given thought to what awakening stones she would have used for each of her powers and what rules they all would have. But I think I will call this drawing of Adventurer Zoe done. Oh, and I decided to draw her as an elf. Not sure why. I guess I didn't want to draw her as a human, but I didn't want to put in the effort of deciding what I would look like as a Leonid. Or a dragon person. Although that last one might have been more on theme considering my channel name. Oh well, let's move on to our final drawing. Last but not least, we have the Percy Jackson series. It's been quite some time since I read the books, but I recently started to listen to them on Audible. Mostly when I draw, but also when I'm playing video games, like Minecraft. I guess that's two things from my middle school days that I still enjoy. So if you are unfamiliar with the series, that means this self-insert is a demigod, so I would have to figure out who my godly parent is. When I was younger, I always assumed that my godly parent would be my father, mostly because he sucks. I figured it would be one of the big three, like Zeus, Poseidon, or Hades. But when I was revisiting, I honestly had no idea. I had a few vague ideas on what I could do with being a child of Zeus or Hephaestus, mostly creating a scene with interesting lighting using lightning bolts or forges. But instead, I went to readriordan.com and took a quiz to find out, and it turns out my godly parent is Athena. Huh. Never considered that, but we can work with it. Athena is the goddess of wisdom, craft, and warfare. I figured I could do something interesting with the warfare angle, so I got to work. I Googled pictures of Athena and based my design off her statues and paintings. The pose I went with was a POV you are a monster about to get run through with a spear. I figured this would have happened at some point on a quest Zoe, daughter of Athena, was assigned. I have no idea what the goal of the quest would be. Perhaps she was receiving some kind of godly object. that honestly seems to be the case for most of the quests that they go on. Or maybe it's some point in the year when she could be away from Camp Half-Blood. It is a summer camp after all. Also, I figured her armor and sphere is some kind of magical object. Basically, it transforms into a bracelet. Mostly so that way she doesn't have to walk around in armor carrying a spear, but she can have access to them at a moment's notice. I'm not sure if she crafted them herself, or if they were a gift from her mother, or maybe just an object she found after slaying some kind of monster. Either way, it's a pretty useful set of magical tools. And with that, we finished with Zoe, daughter of Athena, which means we are finished with our drawings. I hope you all have a good Thankscringing, and if you don't celebrate, have a good Thanksgiving. If you don't celebrate that, then have a nice day. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to see more of my stuff, go ahead and subscribe. Also, I stream on Twitch, so if you want to see me play games or draw live, go on and head over there. All the links will be in the description. Thanks for watching. Bye!